Now, lost world fiction is something that has been around for centuries. Imagination about places that might have been and might have been lost. You see, long ago and far away are two of the sure success triggers to imaginative leaps in literature. It may be utopia or dystopia. A dream world of fulfillment or a nightmare world of frustration and danger. Now, lost world fiction always presupposes that the world was not lost at one time. Now, H. Rider Haggard, like Thomas More, like Jules Verne, like Edgar Rice Burroughs, and others, have also written lost world fiction. Now, obviously, the lost world, sometimes these lost worlds were places of incredible wealth, unbelievable scientific progress, technological advancement. So as a result, lost world fictions not only gave to the readers a thrill, but also a suspense, a desire to be there, and obviously, while reading the thing, a pleasure of vicarious experience wherein they could experience through the characters the great deal of joy that would be their portion also if they could penetrate to these places. Okay. King Solomon's Mines tells the story of an adventure to the Kukuana land, to the mythical treasure chamber of King Solomon, the legendary king of the Old Testament. Now, the Kukuana land is a land of wealth. And this land was cut off from the outside world by the desert. Even though there is another place of ingress and egress through which outsiders sometimes try to invade the Kukuana land. These outsiders are non-Europeans. They are African natives. So they don't count. In the Eurocentric outlook of a Rider Haggard, these African natives who try to invade Kukuana lands and who are defeated, routed by the Kukuana army, they do not count. When we say that America was discovered by Americo Vespucci, what do you see? America was some place where people have lived for thousands of years. Because the Europeans, because the Westerners were very powerful militarily, economically, and so on and so forth, they considered their discovery to be the most important one. Here also, Don Silvestre, who had visited this place in the 15th or 16th century, and these three Europeans, Alan Quatermain, Captain Good, and Sir Henry Curtis, their arrival at Kukuanaland is considered to be the most important connection between the Kukuanas and the outside world. And there is another fiction that is put forward by Alan Quatermain and his party. What is that? That they are the star people. They have come from the stars. So what happens? First, there is the lure of the unknown. Hazlitt has an essay called Why Do the Distant Objects Please? Lure of the unknown, the far away. And there is also the element of Gagul, the long ago. Now the power struggle between Inkosi and Twala is basically the offshoot of an earlier struggle between Twala and Inkosi's father. As a result, what happens is the lost world is described in great detail, bringing to the fore its social customs, its religious rites, its familial and military hierarchies, its polity, and a peculiar kind of an insular mentality that the natives feel for the outsiders and the outside world. Okay. Now, the next topic that I am going to deal with will be the paired portrayal of Inkosi and Twala. They actually represent two generations. Twala happens to be, biologically speaking, Inkosi's uncle, the brother of Inkosi's father. Now there is family feud, just like Greek tragedies, the house of Atreus. Here also, there is a peculiar kind of conflict raging between two brothers, in which Twala kills the rightful king. But the conflict between Twala and Inkosi goes far beyond this. It is not only a power struggle between two power-loving individuals. What is at stake is the triumph or defeat of one particular way of looking at things and another. Twala is brutal, ironic, even though he is very strong and a capable leader of men, military ruler as well. He is at heart neither very courageous against the unknown. He is basically governed by the evil counsels of Gagul. But whereas Twala is mentored by Gagul, the eternal witch. And the way Gagul has been represented by the Europeans, she is just a witch, a supernatural kind of a being. Now, as opposed to this, we get to see Nkosi. Nkosi is advised by the Europeans. Alan Quatermain is his advisor and confidant. Now, what ultimately happens is Tuala is killed not by Nkosi, but by Inkubu. Whereas Tuala is the setting sun, Nkosi is the rising one. But Tuala and Nkosi, they engage in a civil war. Ultimately, thanks to the greater bravery and cunning of Nkosi's party, Tuala's forces melt away and Tuala is killed by Inkubu. That is Sir Henry Curtis. So in a way, they represent the typical virtues and vices of the African native as represented by the Europeans. Now, Tuala is crafty, Tuala is cruel, Tuala is bloodthirsty, whereas Nkosi is honest, upright, loyal. These are basically typical representation of the African native. So ultimately, their portrayal, the way they have been portrayed, gives us another instance of Orientalism. A typical way in which the Orient and the Orientals get represented by the Europeans or the Westerners. Okay, so these are the two topics that I have discussed today. And okay, after this I will go in for T.S. Eliot's Murder in the Cathedral. Okay, with this we come to the end of today's class. I have discussed two topics today, and in my next class, I have already discussed three topics, no?
Sir, 4.
Four. So other four are still left, no?
Yes, sir.
Imperialism is there. Aesthetics of misogyny is there. What else is there? Alan Quatermain as character and narrator. Another is
Science over superstition.
Oh, triumph of science over superstition. Okay.
Yes, sir.